Hey, what is up, SummerCon? Make some noise for my boy, young Kriss.
Oh, come on now. We got to make a little bit more noise so I can see some energy. Make some noise one more time.
Yes,
There we
sir.
go.
Yes, sir. Hey, thankful you're here, bro.
Oh, man, I'm excited to be here. Excited to be
Hey,
here.
who here had a good time at the concert last night? That was not as convincing. Did you guys really enjoy the concert last night? Okay, thank you. so I guess.
It's good. It's good to know. Man, it was cool, man.
It's fine.
It's all right, man.
Hey, we just wanted to sit down with young Kriss and just talk a little bit about his platform that he's built, how he has used that to glorify God, the purpose that God has kind of instilled on his life. And yeah, so go ahead, give them just a quick little background of like, why music? Why did you want to kind of do this young Kriss thing?
Yeah, so for me, like, I've always loved music. I've always been a creative since a little kid, since your guys' age. And I've always loved the idea of making music. I just never knew how, right? And so I remember when I was in middle school, one of my best friend's cousins, he was like, yo, you sing, don't you? And I was like, I mean, yeah. And he was like, you want to get on a song? And so I remember we wrote this hook, and I recorded it. It was in like a bedroom studio or whatever. And that was the first time I heard myself on a song. I was in middle school, and I thought it was so cool. And from that point, I had this desire and passion to create music and actually record it. But as a kid, I've always just loved music, man. I've always sang, I've always rapped, I've always imitated what I heard. And then growing into my own, into high school, learning how to record music, mix music. I fell in love with the process, bro. Like, I fell in love with learning how to do all these things. But it wasn't until I was 20 years old and I gave my life to God. I wasn't raised in a church or anything. I didn't have parents who took me to church. I didn't have events like this, like SummerCon, to be able to come to and to engage with other people who love Jesus, to be able to learn about giftings, callings, and just about God. I didn't have that. But at 20, I gave my life to God, and I learned what my gifting and calling was. I understood why I had the gift that I have. And so that's when I started to kind of lean into, how do I use my gift to honor God?
Yeah.
How do I use my gift to point people back to this God who just radically changed my life? So that's when I started to dive into who is young Kriss. And it's been a beautiful journey since.
Oh, that's awesome. How many of you guys are, because you guys are at the age where you're kind of figuring out, like, this is what I like, this is what I'm good at. Do any of you guys have that thing where you're like, I have no idea if this is a viable option? Like, I see some people out here that I know play instruments or are really artistic, all these things. Like, think in your mind about that thing that God has, he's the one, he put that talent, he put that passion in you, and think like, there's no way I could do something with that. This guy's a testament that he can.
And awesome. I used to have those same thoughts. Like, it wasn't until maybe 2 years ago that my career really started to take off as an artist. But I've been making music since I was y'all's age. Like, I've been creating for a long time. But part of that journey of, I think a lot of times we see people's success and we think it's an overnight success, but we don't see the years in the making. And my encouragement for you guys is, you're so young, but you have desires and passions to create or to do things that are great, but they're going to take times of growing. It's going to take seasons of developing your craft. I think one of the coolest things that I see a lot is a lot of gamers and a lot of streamers, influencers, content creators. Like, some of the most, I feel like we live in like the most creative era of all time, bro.
The barrier to entry is low.
Yes, bro. Yeah. Like, I'm seeing people like they're making content on their iPhone that is incredible, and it'll get millions of views. And so I feel like we live in such a creative era, but how many people know how to cultivate their gift that points people back to Jesus. And my biggest thing as an artist is I always want to use my gift to create a culture that invites people to know God. Everything about my life, I want them to know who God is, because God is the substance of life. God is, he is the giver and the hope of life. And so I want to use my gift. I want to use my influence. I want to use anything about myself to point people back to Jesus.
Yeah, that's good. Let's kind of stay on that content thing for a little bit. How many of you guys are on Instagram?
We got some influencers in here.
Yeah, we got some. I see people, like, I know some of y'all follow these big influencers all over Instagram. Last night, you might have followed young Kriss for the first time. And something you'll notice about his content is, like, it's really well executed, and it has, like, depth to it. How do you navigate putting out a lot of content, but still wanting each thing that you share to be worth watching?
Yeah. So whenever I create content, I have a checklist of things that I kind of go through as a content creator and as a videographer as well. That's another gift that God kind of brought me to learn, is learning how to use a camera. How many people in here know how to use a camera? Anybody know how to use? Look at that. The amount of hands that are up is incredible.
Now that it's on every phone and it's all incredible.
Like, bro, I remember when I was in high school, if you were a photographer, you were like the only photographer in the school, and you did everything for the school. And now people have such access to like YouTube, where they can learn how to use a camera in like 5 minutes. Yeah. And so I learned how to use a camera, right? But I also learned how to do things like color grading and all these things to make the footage look the way it does. So when I make content, my biggest thing is one, I want it to look incredible. The quality, the colors, it's got to pop. Like, it's just got to capture your attention. Why? Because I don't want there to be any distractions. I want someone to see it and be like, yo, just off of how this looks, this is fire. And then I want it to be, a lot of my content is performance shots. So it'll be me sitting on top of a car or sitting by a tree or whatever, singing the songs that I write. And the reason why I do that is because I want to reach the audience who is interested in music. And so performance reels is kind of like my thing. But yeah, I always want to make it as great as possible, all the way to where how I set up the shot, how I film the shot, and how I edit the shot, if that answers your question.
No, that's great. I'm curious, how many of you guys follow this guy on Instagram yet?
If you don't follow me, we're not friends no more. No,
no, I think something you'll see is, like, you've got this pretty consistent message, and it's on, like, a shirt you got, Holy Vibes Only.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So Holy Vibes Only, man, that's kind of like the brand. I remember when I first started really getting into like content creation, and I remember my biggest thing was I wanted to always comment back to everybody who engaged with my stuff. I wanted them to feel seen, to feel heard, and I remember one day I was like, man, it's a holy vibe, you know what I mean? And I was like, ooh, that kind of sticks a little bit. And then it transitioned from, oh, it's a holy vibe, to it's Holy Vibes Only. And Holy Vibes Only, what that means is that there are a lot of people who love music, especially R&B music, but there's not a big selection of Christian-based, clean, good R&B music. And so for me, like, I make music that it's a holy vibe only. And so for these people who want to get away from secular music and stop listening to music that gives terrible influence, they can come over to Holy Vibes Only and know that that's exactly what they're going to get. And so it really turned into a community.
Yeah.
You know, we got over, I think it's almost 17,000 people who are in my broadcast channel who are a part of the HVO family.
That's crazy.
And to be able to create stuff that is pure, that is good and wholesome, that's what Holy Vibes stands for.
That's awesome. How many, actually, don't raise your hand. That's probably a little intrusive. what would you say to kids in here, or kids that will be watching this later, or even our leaders, dealing with like, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this. I don't know if I'm good enough to try this thing that I'm passionate about, but I'm really scared to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think first and foremost, like, release any pressure from yourself. Most of us are never as good as what we need to be. That's just the truth. Like for me, a lot of people see me and they're like, yo, you're so dope at what you do, or like, you killed that performance. Like, a lot of you came up and were like, yo, you killed that performance, bro. That was so fire. Well, the truth is that we don't always feel like we're doing the best that we can.
Yeah.
But the first thing you got to understand is your feelings will lie to you, 100%. You may feel like you're not good enough, but somebody else sees you and they're like, that person's really cool. I like the way that he plays ball, right? Like, he's a hooper. I like the type of swag that they have. That shirt is so cool. But you may look in the mirror and be like, I look ridiculous right now. I'm a hot mess. Like, so your feelings will lie to you. There's so many times as an artist, myself, even at the level of where I am, I look at other artists and I'm like, man, I should be there, like, but I'm not good enough. And then I'm reminded that comparison will kill your contentment. Comparison will destroy contentment. And so you have to be okay with where you are. But also, just start. Like, do the thing that you want to do, because it's in doing it, getting your reps in, that you get better.
Yeah.
When I first started making music, man, if I played y'all a song, gosh, it was terrible. Like, if I played you a song right now, everybody, it'd be unanimous, that's trash. Like, that was awful. But because I continue to press in and continue to do it and continue to sharpen my skills, now I'm at a place to where I'm confident anytime that I make a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm developing that. So if you feel like, man, I want to be a gamer, but maybe you're trash at Fortnite, keep playing. You may have to get killed 1,000 times before you
get your first dub.
You know what I'm saying? Before you get your first dub. Yeah. If you want to be an influencer, be someone worth influencing. You know what I'm saying? Work on your character. Spend time with God. Develop good character so that you have something that's worth imitating, right? If you want to be a content creator, film stuff. Get together with your friends and make a funny video. Sharpen your skills, right? If you want to be a photographer, get a camera. Go and take photos of just anything and everything and develop your skills. You got to start somewhere. And once you start, then you start that process of getting to a place where you want to be.
That's good. And what would you then say to the person watching or listening in this room right now that's like, I kind of see this talent I have. I don't know if I get the whole God thing. Like, is God really behind it? Like, is there a God that wants to use that? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I would say yes, he does. The short answer. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't he? Right? Because our job as believers is to go out into this world and tell everybody about how good Jesus is. Right? Imagine how uncomfortable it may be for you to just walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, do you know Jesus? Right? That can be weird sometimes, right? Does anybody do that? No, probably not. Right? We got some people in here who do that, and they got a gift of boldness. But most of us, we missed that gift. We ain't got the boldness. So imagine being able to take your gift and go out into the world and use your gift that then attracts people to know who God is. And God created you with the gift. It came from him. He's the source. So if you're good at something, use that gift. One of my favorite examples is, I remember having a conversation with you and talking about how you like to hoop, right? I noticed it. Off rip, I saw his socks. I was like, this dude hoops, 100%. Those socks don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my favorite examples is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is somebody who uses his platform as one of the best basketball players in the world to point people back to God. And one of his signature like celebrations is when he points up to the sky, right? And when he points up, that's a representation of he's pointing up to God. He gives his honor and glory back to Jesus because of his faith. He shares that with the world. He doesn't have to get on camera every time and say, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, you should follow God. But his influence speaks for itself. And then it shares this experience with the world who may not know Jesus we know what he stands for. And because of his influence, I want to know more about this.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is your platform is an extension of your purpose.
That's good.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Your platform is an extension of your purpose.
Oh, that's
yeah?
good. He's preaching, ain't he? Come on, we got to clap for that.
No,
We got to clap for that. He's
No.
he up here preaching right now.
No.
That's crazy.
You're funny. And I think that's something to walk with and sit with. This platform you have, each of you guys has influence, whether you know it or not, in your friend groups, in your schools, those of you that are here on Wednesday nights, those of you that are with your families, you have influence. And so I think the thing is to realize that purpose that you have.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow Jesus, it's sometimes hard to see what that purpose is, you know? What would you say to the person who doesn't follow Jesus, but is like, maybe he is doing something?
Yeah. I'll share a little bit of my story. So I come from a place of, I like to say I'm from around the way, right? I grew up in a place where there wasn't a whole lot of Jesus. And for me to see how God changed my life, I was at a place where I wanted to give up on everything. I hit rock bottom in my life. I was ready to end everything. And God came to me through a vision, and he showed me who he was. And it was at that moment that I knew that something needed to change. And so I gave my life to God. When I gave my life to Jesus, I didn't know anything. I didn't know any scriptures. I didn't know any traditions. I didn't know anything about Christian culture. I didn't know anything about anything. All I knew is that this guy named Jesus intervened in one of the darkest moments of my life and saved me. And so what that did is it created a desire to know God more. And so my first encouragement is, if you're curious, like maybe some of us in this room aren't truly like believers in Jesus. We haven't seen or known, or maybe he's kind of called us, but we haven't really answered. My first encouragement is desire to know him more. Know God more. Why? Because one, he is the substance of life, right? Apart from him, there is no life, right? He is the creator of all things, and he is the only thing that is good. So desire to know him. And as you desire to know him, he's going to reveal more things to you. He's going to continue to give you wisdom. He's going to continue to give you knowledge. He's going to continue to grow you in your spirit. And so as you do that, as you continue to follow him, you're going to learn more and more about him, but also more and more about what he wants from you. And what he wants from you is obedience, faithfulness, and it's always going to lead you down a better path. I used to tell kids all the time in my youth ministry, like, bro, all God wants is for you to say yes. And if you say yes, I promise you, dog, it's going to end up way better than you saying no. Because what happens is we have our own will in life, and we say, I just want to do what I want to do. And it always leads down a path of destruction. But if we say yes to God, he leads us down a path that is righteous and good, but it's also good for us. It's better for us. So if you don't know Jesus in this room, I want you to know that this is a man who stepped out of heaven, right? Stepped out, stepped into our place, took the punishment that we deserved so that we could be reconciled, brought back to God. And now that we have Jesus, when God looks at us, he sees Jesus. The scripture says that he who knew no sin, Jesus, became sin so that we, the people, could become the righteousness of God. So if you know Jesus, and if you have trust in Jesus, now when God looks at you, he doesn't see you, he sees Jesus.
That's good.
Because Jesus stepped into our place. So desire him. Just start there. You don't have to know everything. You don't got to be, like, a lot of times people think that being a Christian is, I can't be cool no more. Like, no, bro, be who you are, dog. Like, be authentically who God created you to be. Just be obedient, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Start there.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for that. So I think there's a couple key things to just kind of take away. It's one, it's like, what you do matters.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
Like just because people see you, what you do matters. Like how you represent yourself, it conveys a lot about who you are, how you portray yourself. Obviously, don't be fake,
Yeah.
but be fully you. And then two, you got to know your purpose.
Yeah.
These passions, you can't really, like, you can be successful and still be empty and still feel hopeless, still feel anxious if you don't know your purpose.
Yeah.
So knowing your purpose in Jesus and then using that purpose to give him glory with your platform.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that feel fair?
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is like, you guys have an opportunity to start right now. When I was y'all's age, I did not have this. Did not have this opportunity. And I had to go through so much heartbreak and so much tragedy in order for me to come to know who Jesus was. And the thing that I look at when I look at youth ministries is you guys don't know it yet, but you have the biggest blessing of being able to know God at a young age. Like to be able to say, I'm not even going to go down these paths that are going to cause so much heartache and tragedy. I can know God right now. And so my encouragement is lean into that. Like have your friend groups and like be friends, but also encourage each other. Talk about God. You know how easy it is to invite friends to know God? Super easy. Hey, bro, you want to chill? Hey, I'm going to youth group on whatever day you guys go to youth group. You should slide through. It's going to be dope. All right, bet. That easy. You don't have to be weird and be like, yeah, it's you know what I'm saying? It's Christian or like we're going to talk about no, bro, just invite your friends, be who you are, be authentic. And if you're authentic and they truly love you, they're going to want to be around you. Yeah. Just invite them into the presence of God. And you don't have to answer all their questions. You don't have to be a pastor to them. You just have to be their friend. Yeah. And use your influence to show them the best thing that they could ever know, and that's Jesus.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks. Hey, give it up for young Kriss, everybody. Hey, we got just a couple more minutes, nothing crazy long, but I wanted to open it up for questions if anybody had. Probably not like anything crazy, but if you guys had questions for young Kriss, yeah, we got a couple minutes, if that's cool. Alrighty, yeah, Ethan. Ooh. Ooh.
How to make techno music? EDM. I thought he said medium.
Oh,
I was
like a steak.
Like mid. How I make some mid music, man. Yeah, pretty easy. No, EDM music, I'll be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about EDM. So my advice would be find somebody who does make EDM music and learn from them. For me, I watched so many people who made R&B and rap music, and I used to study the people that I really looked up to and learned from them. So if you want to learn how to make EDM music, study people who make EDM music and study the best. Like whoever's the best at that genre, study them. Go on YouTube, watch videos of them making, producing, writing, all that stuff, and become a student and then learn it.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of people that start drawing by tracing. You
That's
know,
good.
a lot of artists, they start by, they print out whatever picture, they put another piece of paper on top of it, and they draw what they see. And so it's like, don't just copy it one for one and say that it's yours, but learn the techniques, learn the things that they're good at. I think it's really good.
That's good.
Yeah. Who else? Yeah, right down here.
Victoria. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great question.
That's a really good question. So I actually experienced this being an artist. In a world where people go viral, you get a lot of positive feedback, but you also get a lot of crazy, wild, outlandish, negative feedback. And so I've walked through that. And me as a person, I'm an emotional person too. I'm very, very emotional. And I think it kind of shows through my music, but I also know who I am in Christ. Like, I know my identity. I know there's nothing that anybody can tell me that'll ever fully, like, make me feel like life is worthless, because I know the God of the universe who gave everything up so that I could have everything. First and foremost, that's the foundation. But from a practical standpoint, I would encourage you to first talk to whoever it is, whether it's your parents, legal guardians, any mentors that you have. Walk through that with them, right? And have them walk through that process with you on even setting up an Instagram. Because once you enter into that world, it's a whole different universe. And you want to be able to have some accountability in that. You definitely want to have some people who can walk you through that and give you advice and wisdom that maybe has been through that before. But also, don't ever be fearful or scared of what anybody's ever going to say to you. The truth is that it will hurt temporarily if they say mean things about you, but it doesn't last. Coming from when I was in middle school, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. So it was very weird. I had some tics where I would make like weird noises. I would twitch a lot. I wasn't that cool in a way. And it was different. It was weird. And I got made fun of a lot. And I remember how that felt. But now I look at my life now, and I'm like, it's not the same season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I walk a little bit more confident now because I know who I am. I still have Tourette's. Yeah, I still do some weird things, right? But I'm also very confident. And because I walk in confidence, it comes off as cool to people. And so my encouragement is be confident in who you are, because you've been working on your art for a while, right? You said almost all your life you've been working on art. So, like, you got some years built up, which tells me that you're probably cold at what you do. So keep doing what you're doing. Show the world. Find your audience. And everybody else, don't even give it a second thought. Let the people in the crowd talk. You focus on the game, right? Don't worry about what the crowd has to say. They can chirp as loud as they want to. Go and get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go out here and hoop, like my guy over here, and do what you do, love what you do, and be confident in what you do.
That was a really good question.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, that was great. Awesome. Any other questions?
Y'all don't got no questions? Come on now. We sitting here.
Aiden, what's up?
That's a wild question.
If you were to be any Disney princess, which one would you be?
That is a wild question. But I got an answer. I got you. Straight up. You know, it's funny because I got daughters who we've watched every single Disney movie possible. And all of them seem to have some real hard lives. So I don't even know if I want to be a Disney princess for real, because they be going through the most, dog. I'm definitely not going to be Moana, because I'm not going out in the middle of the ocean. She's wild for that. No, thank you. I don't know. If I could be any Disney character, though, Timon and Pumbaa.
Both of them?
Their life is lit, bro. Let me be both, bro. Okay. Their life is crazy, bro. They just be chilling, eating bugs like it's a buffet, and just like cooling, bro. I'll be that.
You
Timon
and Don
Pumbaa.
Reddy, Hakuna Matata, baby.
Hold on.
No, he's
me and Don Reddy being Timon and Pumbaa is a wild comparison. That is hilarious.
Hey, no worries, bro. No worries. You can decide who's who, though.
But the dopest Disney princess is probably what's her name? What's her name?
Do you know the movie?
Yes. I can't think of the name. It's escaping me. She goes into the army, Chinese.
Oh, Mulan. Yeah.
Mulan.
The songs in that movie, too, crazy. I'll make a man out of you.
All right, Mr. I'll make a man out of you. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Hey, we got time for another question or two. Yeah. Oh, let's go right here first.
Here. So she asked, she said, I've been writing songs, but I struggle to find like instrumentation to match the song. Do you play any instruments? Okay. So my biggest advice for you is maybe try finding music first and then write to the music, or find somebody who's really good at creating the music side of things that can create that around the song that you already wrote.
Yeah.
That guy in the back right there with the, I think it's a tan hat maybe. Raise
the
your
very
hand,
back.
Nate. There he is right there. That is the genius behind all of my songs. He produces every song that you hear come from me. And he's very talented at piano, guitar, I mean, anything. He can play it all. And so the best thing that happened in my career was partnering with him so that he could create the music and I could work side by side with him. So find somebody who's good at it. If you're not good at it, find somebody. Or if you just want to do it yourself, learn the instrument and just become a beast. But find somebody who's good at it, because that's going to help you.
Yeah,
100%.
that's good.
I think Logan back there.
Yeah,
has a
Logan,
question.
last question. What's up? What would you do for a Klondike bar? What wouldn't you do for a Klondike bar?
I'll tell you this. Klondike bars are kind of mid to me. So, like,
Wow.
there's not a whole lot that, like, I wouldn't tie a shoe for a Klondike bar. Like, I'm good off that. But what would I do for some
Sweet potato tots?
sweet potato tots? I've had sweet potato tots like 3 times in the last week, so that's why he says that. My favorite ice cream, though, is coffee ice cream. No, you say ugh until you have it. It's crazy. And brother, ooh. What else? What else do I like? Oh, I like pecan, butter pecan ice cream. Crazy. So what would I do for that? I don't know. I don't know how to. There's a lot I wouldn't do. I know that.
So, short of sin, what would you?
Yeah.
What would you not do?
I would put my hands in a bucket of slime for some ice cream, for some butter pecan. And I hate slime. I can't stand the texture of slime, kinetic sand, anything that's like that, bro. No, thank you. My kids love playing in that stuff. No, thank you, bro. I'm good. So I would do that for some butter pecan ice cream. To answer your question, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Don't answer it. Never
You
mind.
said not much.
Yeah, not much.
But sick. Well, guys, can we give young Kriss a hand? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the concert last night. Thanks for this. There will be an episode of the Rocky Students podcast coming out with young Kriss and Nate Sims on it. We will make sure it's all over social media once that's coming out. Very excited. We talk a lot of the similar stuff, but we also talk basketball. We talk all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
So you still going to be selling merch?
I'm selling merch out there. So if you ain't got a T-shirt, go get you a T-shirt.
Yes,
all right? Have your parents give you some money.
Yeah.
Or if you got money yourself, go get you a T-shirt. It's really cool too. Like, my thing is, when I create merchandise, like I want it to have a conversation piece to it. So like, my favorite shirt is the "He Loves You" shirt, because on the back it says he left at 99 for me. And I was talking with my buddy Logan over here yesterday, and he said, "What does that mean?" And it opened up an opportunity for me to have a discussion about God. And so anytime that you wear a shirt like that, it's always going to turn heads. It's always going to give opportunities to share your faith. And so when you're buying the merch, you're not just buying Young Kriss merch or just buying a shirt. You're buying an opportunity to share your faith with the world. And so I just want to encourage you to partner with that in any way that you can.
That's good. Thanks again.